What's good, YouTube? It is your boy, Big Cool, coming to you from Colossal Boxing Talk. Before I get into the video, if you hear anything, I'm on the road driving, so if you hear any horns or air conditioner blowing, just know that's either me or some motherfuckers around me blowing horns and not knowing how to drive. But let's get into the video, man. Y'all already know, see the thumbnail, see the title. Sergey Kovalev turned back the clock, if you want to say that. Got some redemption, got some revenge on Eleider Alvarez, who completely dropped the ball in his first title defense. I mean, it was fucking pathetic, the performance he put on. After being Adonis Stevenson's mandatory for that WBC light heavyweight title for 3 years, he get a chance against Kovalev, makes the best of it, and instead of, getting better and still maintaining that hunger, he goes in there last night and completely dropped the ball. He had his moments, but that was an overall pathetic performance. But let's talk about the victor. Sergey the Crusher Kovalev, 35 years old. I think he improved his record to 36-3 with 28 knockouts. It was a very, very, very good and very surprising performance. Not because Kovalev isn't capable of putting on those type of performances. It's because of what we've seen. It all started back in 2015, 2016 when he fought Andre Ward. Andre Ward won a very controversial first fight between those two men. It was a huge outcry saying that Kovalev was robbed, and you got some valid points. But fast forward, rematch 2017. Kovalev gets stopped in the 8th round by Andre SOG Ward for his second consecutive loss as a professional fighter. Tried to say that he was low blowed to death in that fight. That's the reason why he was stopped. Bullshit. But he bounced back. Andre Ward relinquished those titles he had won when he announced his retirement. So that allowed for Sergey Kovalev to fight Shabransky, I believe, for that WBO light heavyweight title. He knocked out Shabransky, who was a big puncher, but other than that, skills are subpar, to say the least. And, he made one more title defense against a good fighter, but a guy who lacked a punch. And I can't think of his name right now, but he gave a valiant effort, but was just outgunned in that fight. Then you fast forward last August. Kovalev will suffer a major upset at the hands of Eleider Alvarez, where he was stopped in the 7th round. But, he switched trainers yet again. The second time in 3 years that he had switched trainers. He went from John David Jackson to the Russian guy to Buddy McGirt, a future Hall of Famer, a guy who was a multi-weight champion at 140 and 147 as a professional fighter. And that seemed to be an instant great thing that he decided to do. Buddy McGirt has trained some excellent fighters. Arturo Gatti, just to name a guy off the top of my head because I'm drawing a blank. I'm driving, trying to focus on the road. But, Arturo Gatti is probably the biggest name he trained and guided him to a lot of his pinnacle moments in his career. But, Buddy McGirt has said that prior to this fight last night, the rematch, he didn't watch any film of Kovalev Alvarez 1. And when you hear that, you be like, what the fuck? Buddy, I know you're confident. I know you're a very good trainer, future Hall of Famer. You're boxing in and out. But you sure you don't want to look at film to help him, improve, see what he done wrong visually? Nope. And it worked. And it was simple as instructions that Buddy McGirt, excuse me, reminded him and told him, be patient, use that jab, feint, go to the body when you can, don't wrestle with him, because we know, back to the Ward fights, he wrestled with Andre Ward. Ward on the inside is physically strong, tough to get the upper hand on the inside, although Kovalev is strong as well. That's where he starts to, have those stamina issues and starts to, get tired and get fatigued. And his second win isn't what you would think it would be as a top athlete, as an elite fighter, and world champion. But throughout the course of the fight last night, Buddy McGirt was that calming voice. You're doing good, Sergey. You're doing good. Just stay composed, stay patient, jab, feint, Even though Kovalev has the power to knock you out with one punch, he also has the ability to box. His jab is a great jab. It's a hurting jab, His jab is just as effective as his right hand or left hook. And last night he performed beautifully, man. So I got to give it up to him, man. I got to give him credit. He did what he was supposed to do. He went in there. He got redemption. He regained his WBO light heavyweight title. And now he's looking forward to the future. And that brings the topic of today. Sergey Kovalev states that he wants unification bouts next. Eleider Alvarez, excuse me, is the WBC light heavyweight champion. Got that title when he stopped Adonis Stevenson in the 11th round. In a fight that was had a terrible ending. Adonis Stevenson, prayers up to him continuously. Suffered some major life-altering injuries, but he's reported to be doing well, so I'm glad to hear that. But he's the new WBC light heavyweight champion. And then you got Arthur Beterbiev, who's the hard-hitting Russian. Him and Kovalev have bad blood. That will be an action-packed fight. Both guys have the ability to end a fight with one punch. Both guys have, questionable suspect chins. So that's a fight that definitely would pique the interest of the hardcore fight fan. And then you have Dmitry Bivol, the WBA light heavyweight champion, a guy that many had tabbed as the future, but he seemed to fall back down a notch or two, and now the division is back up in arms. It's your guess as good as my type situation in terms of who can be the guy that take charge of that division. Gilberto Ramirez should be noted. He's moving up from 168 to 175, and by him doing that, he was the WBO super middleweight champion. He can ask the WBO to make him the mandatory, which will put him in line for a fight with the Crusher, Sergey Kovalev. But how does Sergey Kovalev fare in these fights against the champions that I just mentioned? I think that he can beat Arthur Beterbiev. I think that will be his best chance. And that's just being 100. I think that will be his best chance due to, Beterbiev's suspect chin, being that, he's been knocked down by lighter punching guys before. And Kovalev is a guy that if he gets you in trouble, he definitely will finish you. So I think that that's a fight that he can definitely win. But he can lose it as well. And then you got Alexander Usyk. Alexander Usyk is a terrific fighter. He has a style that, allows him to box, allows him to, walk you down, box from the outside, has power as well. But he's a little upright. He's a little, predictable somewhat, a little stiff. But once he gets in the flow of things, he, behind that long jab, that reach, the ability to box from the outside to go along with his, outstanding amateur pedigree, he knows how to work himself around that ring. He got a little dog in him as well, So I think that is a good fight as well for Kovalev. but a fight that he can win. And as for Dmitry Bivol, I think Bivol is all wrong for Kovalev. Not saying that Kovalev can't win, but Bivol is the guy that can box from the outside. He has fast hands. He's a combination puncher. He can punch. You know, he's youthful. He doesn't have as much wear and tear on his body as Sergey Kovalev does. And I just think that once, you know, if he gets past Joe Smith Jr., you know, that he'll be ready for either one of those guys, Kovalev, Beerdebeef, or Gavazic. But Bivol, man, his athleticism, his focus, his professionalism, and just his ability to fight from the outside and kind of mix it up on the inside, giving you different looks, is something that I feel would bother Kovalev, kind of like Alvarez. But I feel he would be more active than Alvarez was in the rematch. And then Alvarez just generally is. You know what I'm saying? He had a tough fight with Isaac Chilemba. He didn't look his best, but who does look their best when they're fighting, you know, Isaac Chilemba, a tough, improving veteran. So we'll see, man. I want to see these fights made because the light heavyweight division has some attention on them now. And I think that if these guys all get in the ring, it'll be bombs away. And I don't think we'll see 12 rounds in none of these fights, man, because that's how good and that's how powerful, you know, these guys are. And that's how suspect the chins are and everything. So that's what makes boxing great, man. But if you agree or disagree, please feel free to drop them your opinions and everything in the comment section down below. If you enjoy the content throughout the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn the notification button on so you won't miss any videos uploaded to the channel. Go over to Facebook, like my Colossal Boxing Talk Facebook page, because I'll upload the video to there as well. Spread the word. Shout out to the movement and everybody that is moving with us. Be sure to check out 3kingsboxing.com for your latest and greatest updated, unfiltered, and unbiased boxing news and information reported the way it should be. Until next time, I am out. Peace.